Hello everybody, I hope that you're well. My name is Christianne and welcome to my channel Backpacking Bananas. I am now 30 years old and I told you that this first vlog of me being 30 was going to be in Portugal because that is where I celebrated. And yes, I did celebrate my 30th birthday in Portugal and it was amazing, and it was so amazing that I didn't film anything. Genuinely, I had all these intentions of making this super fun Portugal vlog, but I just got to this point where I was like, do you know what? I just don't want to film. I want to have a loving time with all of my friends and not think about the camera. And sadly, that means that there will not be an entire Portugal vlog, but I can tell you about it because this is one of the most outrageous things that I think I've ever done. I basically rented a humongous villa in Vila Moura in the Algarve of Portugal. I'd never been to Portugal before. I knew I wanted to do something special for my 30th, and being a travel vlogger and having a lot of travel friends who are kind of all over, I knew I wanted to do it in a destination. I was looking on Airbnb at villas all across Europe. In particular, Greece I was looking at because Greece is my favourite country in Europe. But Greece, unfortunately, in the last, I'd say 5 years or so, has become very, very expensive. Places which used to be very affordable, people have now discovered, and the prices are absolutely soaring. And so these huge villas were absolutely gorgeous, but they were kind of outside of my price range. So that's when I started looking a little bit further, and I came across this massive villa in a town called Vila Moura in the Algarve. It has 9 bedrooms, I think it was. It could take 26 guests, but I did not want to fill up all of those 26 places because I didn't want any of my friends to have a top bunk, because I don't like a top bunk. So I only wanted to have like 18-ish people here. This villa had 2 tennis courts. It had a little golf putting green. It had table tennis. It had a pool table. It had foosball. It had a big swimming pool. It had hangout areas. And I was just like, this is absolutely insane. And I had a really good turnout. Most of my closest friends were able to attend. It was actually really easy getting to that part of Portugal from London or from anywhere in the UK actually. There's so many flights which head down to Faro, and I had no idea. We just had a pretty chilled night on the Friday night, which was the day before my birthday, and then the day of my birthday, I had rented us a catamaran boat to take us out for the afternoon because I really like being on boats. Now, unfortunately, although the weather was beautiful that day, it was very, very windy, so we tried kind of going out into the sea and it was like this, and I was having the time of my life because I don't really get too seasick, but a few people were getting quite seasick, so we kind of just turned back around, went back into the bay, chilled there for a while, had a gorgeous charcuterie board and drank wine and sangria on the boat, listened to music, and then we got back to the villa that evening. I've brought party bags and I'm gonna make them up now in these lovely little woven bags that I got. So in the party bags there's going to be these little eye masks. There's going to be 2 shot bottles, one of gin and one of this lovely birthday cake Baileys. There's gonna be some party blowers, whatever they're called. There's gonna be some bubbles, obviously. There's gonna be a lollipop for each person. What else do they get? Oh, they get a lovely bracelet, or it could be an anklet. It's like gold. I think that's it. That's quite nice, right? I just wanted to give something. I feel so grateful that everyone's come out to Portugal. So many of my friends have just like flown, some of them across the world, to come and celebrate my birthday with me here. I'm so grateful, and this is the least I could do, and this is honestly all I could fit in my 15 kg case, as well as all of my bags. What I'm going to do is refill one with the Baileys. Okay, so that's the Baileys. And then one with the gin. Okay, that one goes down a bit quicker, but I am also spilling it much quicker. And it's some little shots. How cute is that? One's white and one is pink. I got us in a chef to the villa to prepare us a beautiful birthday banquet. Chef Miriam made us a really nice Portuguese dish, and I can't remember the exact name. It was called bacalhau something or other. Bacalhau is the local cod in the south of Portugal. Super tasty. There was a bunch of salads as well. I did a few speeches on my new rose gold microphone, which I didn't realise is my new favourite thing in the world. I would highly recommend getting yourselves a karaoke microphone from Amazon. Just incredible. I'll link mine down below if you want the same one. And then the final full day in the villa, we just chilled and made the most of all the fun activities that were there. We played tennis. I don't even think I managed to get out onto the putting grass, but we were chilling in the pool. We made a big barbecue for everyone, and it was just a really gorgeous day. We ended up then having some dinner and drinks in Agua Club, which was one of the local beach clubs, which is really nice. We watched the sunset there, and I was just kind of like watching all of my friends in the sunset in Portugal and just feeling so grateful to be surrounded by such amazing people. It was super, super special, and I'm so grateful for all of my friends flying out there and just grateful for them in general. I'm very, very fortunate to have met all of them. So it was very sad to see most of them leaving the next morning. Of course, most people have normal jobs and they've got to go into work on a Monday. There was a couple of us who were in Portugal for at least a few more days, and my friend Jack said, well, I'm gonna go to Lagos. Would you like to come? I'd never been to Lagos before. I'd heard of it, but I really knew nothing about it, and so I was just like, okay, let's go. It's only an hour down from Vila Moura. And we spent the next 4 nights in Lagos staying in an Airbnb, and oh my gosh, I freaking love Lagos. Who knew? You can walk around the whole old town in like 5 to 10 minutes, and it's just these gorgeous cobbled street roads. There's so many bars and shops and restaurants, and every single day you can go somewhere different. The food's absolutely delicious. It's not one of these towns that's become overpriced and over touristy. We visited a few beaches which were gorgeous, went down to Sagres and the end of the world to watch the sunset. We did a coastline walk from Lagos, which was beautiful, and a couple of our friends were staying in the Cloud9 hostel there, which is a bit of a party hostel, and they did a bar crawl, and so we joined it as well, even though I wasn't staying there, and it was so much fun. It's just such a small town. We ended up doing that same bar crawl like 3 nights in a row. I've never partied so much in my life. I didn't think that like turning 30 would just bring out this party animal in me, but here we are. It's the kind of town where if you were there as a backpacker, you would just keep extending your stay because you get to know everyone very quickly. It's those small town vibes and the kind of town where you really just don't want to leave. I only spent 4 nights there because I had a flight home, but what an introduction to Portugal. That was my first ever time there, and I am in love. It did kill me that I couldn't speak Spanish, because Portuguese and Spanish are kind of similar, but not slightly similar enough where I understood anything. But if I was speaking to someone in English and they didn't understand me, what I would want to do is speak Spanish, but what I've heard is that it's actually kind of rude to speak to the Portuguese in Spanish. They'd rather you speak to them in English. So I was like biting my tongue to not try to be understood in Spanish. But you know, I'm still working on my Spanish, and I still intend on becoming fluent in Spanish. I just haven't been taking a lot of classes recently. I'm not ready to start pursuing Portuguese just yet, but I really liked Portugal. So that was my 30th birthday week, and what a week it was. So getting into the kind of point of this video, I wanted to give you a life update of where I am right now that I've turned 30, and also what you can expect to see on this channel. Some really exciting news, which I believe I have already shared on Instagram, but I don't think I've shared it on YouTube yet. I have had an offer accepted on a flat. I'm moving out. I'm moving house finally. Now this is something that I've been wanting to do for years, but in the past, I'd say 6 to 12 months, I've kind of been saying, oh, you know, I think I'm gonna put it off a little bit longer just because the interest rates are so high right now and it's not a good time to buy a house. But I kind of said to myself, if an opportunity comes up which is just too good to refuse, I would consider buying a house right now, because really, is there ever a perfect time to buy a house? I'm not so sure. And so I've been keeping my eye on Rightmove, looking in the exact area that I wanted to live, seeing if anything came up, and lo and behold, it did. A flat came up in a building which I'd had my eye on for a while because it's just the absolute perfect location of where I want to live, and this property had come back on the market. So it had already been under offer, but then that buyer's finances just couldn't get themselves together, so it had come back on the market. The seller was really keen to get a buyer ASAP because they were already under offer with another property, and this was 3 days before I went to Pakistan that I saw this, and I kind of just thought, oh my gosh, this could be the one. And then I was like, am I ready to buy this? And I got my laptop out. I made a huge Excel spreadsheet of just like all my finances, everything coming in, all my projected earnings. And it's complicated when you're self-employed because we have revenue streams coming in from all different angles and they all vary quite a lot. So finances can just be a bit messy for us at times. And I just tried to figure everything out and take everything into consideration to be like, could I potentially afford this property? And the answer was yes. So I then said to my dad, I've seen this property, which I believe I can afford. Will you come view it with me? Because I don't like to do these things by myself because I've got no idea what questions I should be asking. And I thought my dad would be like, no, just leave it. It's not sensible. But clearly he wants me out the house because he was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I'll come view it with you. So I was like, great. So I literally called the estate agent. We managed to get a viewing in for the next day. So this is 2 days before I went to Pakistan. And I went to go view it with my dad. We asked them lots of questions. And it was a beautiful sunny day when we viewed it. And I just absolutely loved it. I knew I would because I'd obviously seen it online and they say that location is key. And that was just one of the biggest things for me. It just ticked every single one of my criteria boxes. And so we made an offer. It was an offer that was like quite a lot lower than the asking price, just because I thought the asking price was a bit big and I knew that they hadn't had any other offers, and it was not accepted at first. But then in those first few days in Pakistan, we were emailing back and forth, negotiating to come to a price which both of us were happy with, which we did. In the end, I had an offer accepted. So I was just there in Pakistan with like next to no Wi-Fi, just buzzing off my tits because I was like, I can't believe that like I've got the flat. Well, kind of. They say that like so much can happen in between like getting an offer accepted and then actually getting the flat. Like so many people have told me to like settle down and stop getting my hopes up and anything can fall through. People have really played devil's advocate with me, which is probably a good thing because I tend to get very, very excited about everything. But this was a couple of months ago now. I've gone through quite a lot of the processes at this point. I have my solicitor, I have my mortgage broker who found me a mortgage offer, which has been accepted. I don't even know what the terminology when it comes to that, but I've got a mortgage sorted. It's now just a bit of a waiting game to see when the exchange date is going to be and when the completion date is going to be. And I've got no idea. Apparently minimum time's like 3 months from offer accepted, which would be in like a couple of months time, which is mad. Or it could be like 8 months or 10 months. And honestly, I don't even care at this point because I'm just excited that I know where I'm going to be living and I'm so buzzing about that. I'm like, it doesn't matter when I move in, just whenever. But it is making me go, okay, well now I know that I will be moving out. I do want to travel kind of as much as possible before I move out. I do have a lot of travel planned over the next couple of months. But when I am at home, I think it's important for me to kind of start decluttering now, not just because I've entered a new decade of my 30s and I really want a clean start, but also because I'm gonna be moving out and leaving this bedroom. So I've been doing a little bit of decluttering of my wardrobe, which I find really, really hard to say goodbye to clothing items because I'm massively someone where I'm like, but what if I need it for this occasion? Or what happens if I wanna wear this again? But I know I have to say goodbye to them in order to welcome in new things. And on a similar note, I've just been trying to declutter my technology systems as well. I've been thinking about what furniture that I'm going to want to put in my flat, and the thing is, like, of all the things that I absolutely love off Pinterest, unfortunately, my taste is quite expensive and I am not going to have the budget to buy any of that when I first get there. So it's going to be a case of accumulating pieces over the years until I finally get, I guess, my perfect looking apartment, and I'm totally okay with that. But I will need basic pieces for when I move in so that it's just livable. And I'm quite lucky that I can pick up a few things from family. So my parents have said that I can maybe have a sofa. My grandparents who recently passed were trying to sell their bungalow, and basically they just have a whole house of furniture which they're gonna need to get rid of. So I've been going round and measuring things up. I might be able to take a bed, maybe a mirror, maybe a desk. They never had any sofas though. They just had these electric reclining seats. Oh my gosh, as fun as it is to imagine that I could have a chair like this in my home, I feel like it's just not entirely appropriate. Either way, I think that my new flat is going to be very mismatched when I first moved in, but that's okay. If it's livable, I'll be happy because I'll be living exactly where I want to be living and I'll be living by myself, and it's a really exciting chapter to start especially like with my 30s. So on that note, what else is coming up for me? So as it happens, in a couple of hours I am actually heading to Heathrow and I'm flying to South Korea. That is my first big-ish trip as a 30-year-old. I'm going for literally 10 days, but we'll hopefully see quite a lot. I'm then hoping to visit Madeira, which is a Portuguese island I have wanted to visit for the longest time now, and it's just one of those places which I've just never got round to, and it made sense to stay within the Portugal theme. I can't wait to get out hiking and see the waterfalls and eat more Portuguese food. It looks stunning out there. I am also having insatiable urges to go to Mexico. Is that a relatable thing? I feel like it is. Like, I just feel like living in a hostel for a couple of weeks with salty hair, living off tacos, meeting backpackers. Unfortunately, I just get this craving every single year to like go somewhere Latin and speak Spanish, and that's happening again. So I might go to Mexico. I kind of want to check out Sayulita because I've never been there, but that's potentially on the cards, as well as I'm quite keen to go somewhere in Europe where I can go see some like cute Christmas markets. I'm thinking maybe Germany. I've not spent a whole lot of time in Germany and I think it's a cool country, so that's potentially on the cards as well. And then my sister, who lives in Perth, Australia, is coming to England for Christmas this year, so I should be home for Christmas. All very exciting. I don't know if all of that is going to happen this year, but like I said, I am quite keen to travel as much as possible before I move into my new flat. So we'll see. And then in terms of what you can expect to see on this channel, I would definitely be vlogging everywhere that I go. I want to make loads of videos in South Korea actually, and I think when this video goes out I will be in South Korea, so if there is anything in particular that you want to see, message me on Instagram or go over there and watch my Instagram stories and you'll see what I'm getting up to. But I plan to make a lot of YouTube vlogs when I'm out there, as well as Madeira vlogs. If I go to Mexico, I want to make a bunch of Mexico vlogs. If I go to Germany, I want to make German vlogs. Some of you may have seen on Instagram that a couple of months ago I went to the Northern Territory to see what life can be like as a backpacker on a working holiday visa. So the videos from that trip are coming up in the next couple of weeks. And then as well as all of that, I have like a big backlog of content which I want to create and put on the channel, in particular like travel guides and budget guides. So like a big ultimate backpacking guide to Thailand, a big ultimate backpacking guide to the east coast of Australia, how much it costs to backpack the east coast of Australia. I'm also thinking of doing an Albania travel guide because I never made one, and I know a lot of people are keen to travel Albania these days, and I have a lot of information to share. I also want to share my experience of doing the Yorkshire 3 Peaks Challenge a few months ago, so you may see kind of like old random vlogs interjected into all of these new things that I'm doing, but I'm just trying to figure out the best way of staying on top of like my new travels but also giving you the things that you never saw. So if you do see random vlogs interjected in, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it's going to go until we're fully caught up with everything. Finally, I wanted to talk to you about the group trips that we have coming up in 2024, because all the group trips that I've run in the past have been such a success, and so I'm pleased to say that we are repeating some of them, and we're also introducing some brand new trips. With these group trips, I've never wanted to just like work with any old business to take you on a tour that you could do with anyone else. I've wanted to be a big part of the creation process and working closely with the tour operators in order to put on a trip which you cannot get anywhere else for a good value price, and with a group of fun individuals who you know are all going to be on the same page. I found that all the people who have come on my trip so far have just been the kindest, most fun and sweetest people. Everyone's around a similar age, everyone has similar interests, so everyone's just really got along so well, and I just think that this audience that I've got on YouTube is so special for doing things like that. So without further ado, let's tell you the trips that we've got coming up. We are running the Thailand Dive Retreat again this year in March 2024. Now that one has already gone on sale and it sold out in like 2 minutes. We've got 2 trips running back to back, but if any spaces do open up and you would like the opportunity to potentially join, you can join the waitlist. Just make sure you're signed up to the email notifications at the bottom and we will let you know if any spaces become available for that. Now in April 2024 we are going to be running the first backpacking bananas trip to Mexico. Now, I can't share with you all the details about this one right now, but hopefully when I go to Mexico in a month's time, I will be able to share all those details with you, including the dates, the exact itinerary, how much it's going to cost. Mexico, as you may know, is one of my favorite countries in the whole world, but I completely understand that a lot of travelers are scared to go there as maybe a first backpacking destination, or maybe you just don't even know where to start with it because it's so freaking huge. So myself and my best friend William from Ready for Road, who I organise the Pakistan tours with, we are putting together this Mexico itinerary to give you the absolute highlights of the country in a 2-week package. There's going to be nature and adventure, there's going to be diving in cenotes, there's going to be culture, there's going to be partying, there's going to be a whole load of tacos and food, and I'm so excited to share with you more details about this trip, but that will be in April 2024. And then in June 2024 we have the return of the Pakistan hiking expeditions. I know so many of you were asking if we were running those again, and yes, we are. Next year it's going to be in June. I again will be there on 2 hiking expeditions. The dates are the 1st to the 13th of June 2024 and the 15th to the 27th of June 2024. So it's a 13-day hiking expedition that starts and finishes in the city of Lahore. But the main bulk of the expedition, we are hiking up in northern Pakistan in some of the most gorgeous and beautiful landscapes in the world. We will attempt to hike to the base camp of Nanga Parbat, the 9th tallest mountain in the world. We will get to cruise along the bright blue Lake Attabad. We will get to go shopping for gems and stones in the beautiful town of Karimabad. You can really test your wits to see if you are brave enough to cross the crazy Passu suspension bridge. We will also attempt to go to the base camp of Mount Rakaposhi, the 27th tallest mountain in the world, with a view of a whole valley of glaciers. It's absolutely gorgeous. We will be staying in hotels, we will be camping, we will be staying with a local family. Our trips to Pakistan are really once in a lifetime adventures. I, even as an experienced traveler, would not want to go to Pakistan by myself. It would be a very difficult country to travel by yourself, but obviously with the group we have our local Pakistani guides, we have a driver, we have the bus. We get to experience so many places over 13 days where if you were to do all of that by yourself, it would probably take you 3 months when just trying to figure out things logistically. So it's an absolutely epic trip. If you are an adventure seeker, if you're someone who likes to step outside of their comfort zone, if you're someone who likes to push yourself physically, or you just love hiking and dramatic views, this is absolutely the trip for you. I never know if these trips will sell out or how quickly they will sell out, but what I will say is that if you know you definitely want to come, I strongly recommend booking as soon as those bookings open, just to make sure you get a place, because every single other time they have sold out in under 10 minutes. And then the final group trip, which I will hopefully be running next year, a brand new one which is still in the works, but I'm mentioning it now because I'd actually love a little bit of your input. We are going to be doing a Backpacking Bananas sailing trip. If you've ever wanted to go sailing around the beautiful Mediterranean, and again you're like, God, I'd love to do that, but I've got no one to go with, this is the perfect opportunity to come. We also openly welcome solo travelers. And so my question to you is, what countries in the Mediterranean would you love to go sailing around? Do you like the idea of this being a super activity filled trip where we do lots of different adventurous things in each destination? Would you just like to chill out for the whole week and enjoy boat life? Would you like to party loads and go to party destinations? Do you want a little bit of everything? At this point, I'm still putting together all the details and the itinerary, so I'd love your input if you'd have any. Or first of all, just tell me, is this something that you would be interested in attending? I know it's something that I'm very excited about running. I've been going on sailing holidays almost every year now for the past like 5 years, and they are hands down like some of my favorite weeks in the whole year. I just freaking love being out on the boat, especially in the Mediterranean. So yes, let me know if you would be interested in that, because that would be the final, I think, unless I come up with any more ideas, that would be the final Backpacking Bananas group trip of 2024. So I just wanted to run all of those through with you. Do make sure that you are signed up to the emails on backpackingbananas.com to make sure that you don't miss out on any updates. I will also give updates on my Instagram, and I will try and give updates on YouTube as well. But all the information that you need to know about the group trips will be on backpackingbananas.com when we have the information for it. So if you ever want to know any details, you can check there first. But you can also email trips@backpackingbananas.com if you have any specific inquiries about any of the trip, and we will do our best to get back to you as soon as possible. I think that is it for this life and channel update. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I'm really excited to see what the next year is going to bring for me. The first year in my 30s. It's gone really well so far. But right now, as in right now, I'm leaving for the airport in under an hour and I need to finish my packing. So I will see you in the next video where we will probably be flying to South Korea. Bye bye.